You think you're independent. You think you're your own man. You think the choices you make are yours alone. But look around you right now. Look at the 5 people you spend the most time with. Look at them hard. Because whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not, you are becoming them. Your habits are their habits. Your income is averaging out to their income. Your mindset is absorbing their mindset. Your excuses sound exactly like their excuses. You are not some isolated island of individuality. You are a reflection of your environment. And if you don't like what you see in the mirror, stop looking at yourself and start looking at who you're surrounded by. This is the conversation nobody wants to have because it requires you to admit something painful. It requires you to admit that maybe the reason you're not where you want to be has nothing to do with lack of opportunity or bad luck or the economy or your circumstances. Maybe the reason you're stuck is because you're hanging around people who are also stuck. And misery loves company. Mediocrity loves company. People who aren't doing anything with their lives love to surround themselves with other people who aren't doing anything because it makes them feel normal. It makes them feel justified. It gives them permission to stay exactly where they are. But you don't want permission to stay where you are. You want to get out. You want to build something. You want to become someone. And that means you have to make a choice that most people are too weak to make. You have to cut people off. You have to distance yourself. You have to disappear from social circles that are dragging you down into the mud. And this is where people get emotional. This is where people start talking about loyalty and friendship and how you can't just abandon people. Watch this. If someone is actively preventing you from becoming who you're supposed to be, they are not your friend. If someone mocks your ambition, they are not your friend. If someone makes you feel guilty for wanting more, they are not your friend. They are a weight. They are an anchor. And you cannot swim to the surface with an anchor tied to your leg. Every single person you allow into your inner circle is either adding to your life or subtracting from it. There is no neutral. There is no Switzerland when it comes to relationships. People are either pushing you forward or pulling you backward. And the ones pulling you backward are usually doing it without even realizing it. They're not evil. They're not malicious. They're just comfortable. And they want you to be comfortable too because your discomfort makes them uncomfortable. When you start working out, they want to go get burgers. When you start reading, they want to watch Netflix. When you start building a business, they want to talk about how risky it is. They're not supporting you. They're protecting themselves from the mirror you're holding up to their own lack of action. So what's the price? The price is loneliness. The price is isolation. The price is being misunderstood. The price is people calling you selfish or arrogant or thinking you're too good for them now. And you know what? You might be too good for them. Not because you're better as a human being, but because you're operating on a different frequency. You're building while they're complaining. You're learning while they're scrolling. You're sacrificing while they're indulging. And that gap is only going to get wider. The further you go down the path of self-improvement, the fewer people are going to be able to keep up with you. And that's fine. That's the cost. That's what you signed up for when you decided you wanted something different. You want to know why most people never make it? It's not because they lack talent. It's not because they lack intelligence. It's because they lack the courage to walk away from people who are holding them back. They would rather be liked than be great. They would rather fit in than stand out. They would rather have shallow relationships with a bunch of average people than deep relationships with a few exceptional ones. And that's their choice. But it doesn't have to be yours. Look at your phone right now. Look at your contacts. Look at your recent calls. Look at your text messages. Who are you talking to every single day? Are they winners? Are they builders? Are they people who challenge you to be better? Or are they people who validate your excuses? Are they people who tell you it's okay to quit? Are they people who make you feel comfortable staying exactly where you are? Because if they are, you need to delete them. Not from your phone, from your life. You need to create space. You need to create a vacuum, because nature abhors a vacuum. When you remove the people who are dragging you down, you create space for people who will lift you up. But you have to make the space first. This is not about being cold. This is not about being ruthless. This is about being honest. It's about looking at your life and asking yourself if the people in it are helping you become who you need to be, or if they're keeping you who you've always been. And if the answer is the latter, you have a responsibility to yourself to make a change. You don't owe anyone your future. You don't owe anyone your potential. You don't owe anyone your dreams. You owe yourself the opportunity to become everything you're capable of becoming. And if that means some people get left behind, so be it. They'll either catch up or they won't. But you cannot slow down to accommodate people who refuse to move. Here's what happens when you start surrounding yourself with the right people. Your standards go up, your work ethic goes up, your income goes up, your confidence goes up. Everything rises because you're no longer the smartest person in the room. You're no longer the hardest worker in the room. You're surrounded by people who are outpacing you, and that creates pressure. That creates competition. That creates accountability. And accountability is the difference between dreaming about something and actually doing it. When you're around people who are taking action, you have no choice but to take action too. When you're around people who are winning, you have no choice but to step your game up. When you're around people who expect excellence, you deliver excellence. But when you're around people who expect nothing, you deliver nothing. So every choice you make about who you spend time with is a choice about who you become. Every conversation you have is either programming you for success or programming you for failure. Every hour you spend with someone is an investment, and you better make sure you're getting a return on that investment. You better make sure that when you walk away from that person, you're better than when you arrived. You're sharper, you're more motivated, you're more focused, because if you're not, you just wasted your time. And time is the one thing you can never get back. People love to talk about time management. They love to talk about productivity hacks and morning routines and all this surface level stuff. But nobody talks about the biggest time waster of all, the wrong people. You can have the perfect morning routine. You can have the perfect schedule. You can have all the discipline in the world. But if you're spending your evenings with people who drain you, who distract you, who pull you back into old patterns, you're sabotaging yourself. You're working against yourself. You're building something during the day and tearing it down at night. And this goes beyond just friends. This includes family. I know that's uncomfortable. I know people don't want to hear that. But sometimes the people holding you back the most are the people who are supposed to support you. Your parents who tell you to get a safe job. Your siblings who make fun of your ambition. Your relatives who question every move you make. They mean well. But meaning well doesn't mean they're helping, and you have to be strong enough to love them from a distance. You have to be strong enough to say no. You have to be strong enough to protect your vision, even when it means disappointing people who expect you to stay small. Because here's the thing, when you break free, when you actually do something with your life, those same people who doubted you will be the first ones to say they always believed in you. They'll rewrite history. They'll claim they were supporting you all along, and you'll smile and nod because you'll be too busy winning to care about correcting them. But right now, in the middle of the fight, they're not on your side, and you have to accept that. You have to accept that the path to greatness is walked alone, at least at first. Every great person in history had to isolate themselves at some point. They had to go into the cave. They had to disappear. They had to cut off distractions and focus on the work. Michael Jordan had to outwork everyone in the gym. Kobe Bryant had to wake up at 4 in the morning while everyone else was sleeping. David Goggins had to run alone in the dark. They didn't become great by hanging out with average people. They became great by removing themselves from average environments and surrounding themselves with greatness. or when greatness wasn't available, they surrounded themselves with solitude. Because solitude is better than bad company. Loneliness is better than being around people who kill your dreams. And you're going to feel that loneliness. You're going to feel that isolation. There are going to be nights where you're working and everyone else is out having fun. There are going to be weekends where you're grinding and everyone else is at parties. There are going to be moments where you question if it's worth it, where you wonder if you should just give up and go back to being normal. And this is the moment that separates people who make it from people who don't. This is the moment where you decide if you're serious or if you were just talking. Because being serious means being willing to pay the price. And the price is everything. The price is your comfort. The price is your social life. The price is your reputation. The price is being misunderstood. The price is being called crazy. The price is losing people you thought would be there forever. The price is realizing that most people were never really there at all. They were just there for the version of you that made them comfortable. And the moment you started changing, the moment you started growing, the moment you started demanding more from yourself, they couldn't handle it, because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Your discipline reminds them of their laziness. Your ambition reminds them of their settling. And instead of rising up to meet you, they try to pull you back down. And you have to be strong enough to resist that pull. You have to be strong enough to say no when everyone else is saying yes. You have to be strong enough to stay in when everyone else is going out. You have to be strong enough to work when everyone else is resting. You have to be strong enough to invest when everyone else is spending. You have to be strong enough to build when everyone else is consuming. And most people don't have that strength. Most people cave. Most people give in. Most people go back to the crowd because the crowd feels safe. But the crowd is where dreams go to die. The crowd is where ambition gets suffocated. The crowd is where potential gets wasted. So if you want to become someone, you have to be willing to walk away from everyone, at least for a season, at least until you build the foundation, at least until you become strong enough that other people's opinions don't matter anymore. At least until you become so focused on your mission that distractions bounce off you. At least until you become the kind of person that other ambitious people want to be around. Because that's when everything changes. That's when you stop chasing relationships and relationships start chasing you. That's when you stop trying to fit in and people start trying to fit into your world. That's when you stop being average, and average people stop being able to relate to you. And this is the part people don't tell you about success. Success is isolating, not because you want it to be, but because there are fewer people at the top. The higher you climb, the thinner the air gets, the fewer people can breathe up there. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with the fact that most people will never understand what you're doing or why you're doing it. They'll never understand the sacrifices. They'll never understand the pain. They'll never understand the discipline. They'll just see the results and assume you got lucky. They'll see the outcome and assume it was easy. They'll see where you are and forget where you came from. But you'll know. You'll know what it cost. You'll know what you gave up. You'll know who you had to let go of. You'll know the nights you cried. You'll know the times you wanted to quit. You'll know the moments you felt completely alone. And you'll also know that it was worth it. Because on the other side of that pain is a version of yourself that you didn't even know existed. On the other side of that sacrifice is a life that most people only dream about. On the other side of that isolation is a level of freedom that makes all the loneliness irrelevant. So, the question is simple. Are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to walk away from people who are keeping you small? Are you willing to endure the judgment? Are you willing to face the loneliness? Are you willing to become the villain in other people's stories because you refuse to play the victim in your own? Because that's what it takes. That's what it's always taken. That's what it will always take. There is no shortcut. There is no hack. There is no way to become exceptional while surrounding yourself with mediocrity. The math doesn't work. The physics doesn't work. You become who you spend time with. period. So if you spend time with complainers, you will complain. If you spend time with procrastinators, you will procrastinate. If you spend time with people who make excuses, you will make excuses. If you spend time with people who don't value their time, you will not value your time. If you spend time with people who have no ambition, you will lose your ambition. It's not a moral failing. It's not a character flaw. It's just reality. It's human nature. We adapt to our environment. We mirror the people around us. We become the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And if that average is low, you will be low. No matter how much potential you have, no matter how much talent you have, no matter how much you want it, if you're surrounded by the wrong people, you will fail. But if you surround yourself with winners, you will win. If you surround yourself with people who are obsessed with excellence, you will become obsessed with excellence. If you surround yourself with people who refuse to settle, you will refuse to settle. If you surround yourself with people who demand more from themselves, you will demand more from yourself. If you surround yourself with people who are building empires, you will build an empire, because that becomes the norm, that becomes the standard, that becomes what's expected. And when the standard is high, you rise to meet it. But when the standard is low, you sink to meet it. So raise your standards, not just for yourself, but for who you allow into your life. Be ruthless about it. Be unapologetic about it. Be selfish about it, because your future depends on it. Your dreams depend on it. Your potential depends on it. You cannot afford to keep people around just because you've known them for a long time. You cannot afford to keep people around just because it feels mean to cut them off. You cannot afford to keep people around just because they need you. Because if they need you more than they challenge you, they are using you. They are draining you. They are keeping you from becoming who you're supposed to be. And I know this is harsh. I know this is uncomfortable. I know some of you are reading this and thinking about specific people in your life and feeling guilty. Good. Feel guilty. But don't let that guilt stop you from making the right decision. Because guilt is temporary. Regret is permanent. You can feel guilty for a few weeks about distancing yourself from someone. Or you can feel regret for the rest of your life about the dreams you didn't chase because you were too busy accommodating people who didn't care about your dreams. Choose the guilt. Choose the discomfort now. Choose the hard conversation now. Choose the loneliness now. Because the alternative is waking up 10 years from now in the exact same place you are today, surrounded by the exact same people, having the exact same conversations, making the exact same excuses. And that should terrify you. That should keep you up at night. The idea that you could waste your entire life being comfortable. The idea that you could die having never taken the risk. The idea that you could reach the end and realize you spent your whole life trying to make other people happy instead of making yourself great. Because that's what this comes down to. Happiness versus greatness. Comfort versus excellence. Being liked versus being respected. And most people choose happiness. Most people choose comfort. Most people choose being liked. And then they wonder why they never accomplish anything significant. They wonder why they never feel fulfilled. They wonder why they feel like something is missing. And what's missing is the willingness to sacrifice. What's missing is the willingness to suffer. What's missing is the willingness to stand alone. Because greatness requires standing alone. At least at first. At least until you build something worth standing on. At least until you prove to yourself and everyone else that you were serious. And once you do that, once you actually accomplish something, once you actually build something, once you actually become someone, the right people will show up. The right people will find you. The right people will want to be around you. But they won't show up until you make space for them. And you can't make space for them while you're still holding on to people who don't belong in your life. So let go. Let go of the friends who don't support you. Let go of the family members who don't believe in you. Let go of the partners who don't challenge you. Let go of anyone who makes you feel small. Let go of anyone who makes you doubt yourself. Let go of anyone who benefits from you staying the same. Because those people are not on your team. They're on the other team. They're playing for the enemy. And the enemy is mediocrity. The enemy is average. The enemy is settling. The enemy is comfort. And if you want to win, you have to be willing to go to war with comfort. You have to be willing to burn bridges. You have to be willing to walk away from everything that's familiar and step into something unknown. And that unknown is where you become who you're supposed to be. That unknown is where you discover what you're really capable of. That unknown is where you build the life you've been dreaming about. But you can't get there while dragging people who don't want to go. You can't get there while trying to convince people who don't want to be convinced. You can't get there while waiting for permission from people who will never give it to you. You have to give yourself permission. You have to trust yourself. You have to believe in yourself even when nobody else does. Especially when nobody else does. Because the truth is, most people are not going to believe in you. Most people are not going to see what you see. Most people are not going to understand your vision. And that's fine. They don't have to. This is not about them. This is about you. This is about what you want. This is about who you want to become. This is about the life you want to build. And if you let other people's opinions dictate your decisions, you will never build anything. You will spend your entire life living someone else's dream. You will spend your entire life trying to meet someone else's expectations. You will spend your entire life being who other people want you to be instead of who you are. And who are you? You're someone who wants more. You're someone who's willing to fight for it. You're someone who's willing to pay the price. You're someone who understands that every choice has a consequence. You're someone who understands that who you spend time with determines who you become. You're someone who's ready to make the hard decisions. You're someone who's ready to walk alone. You're someone who's ready to disappear for a season and come back unrecognizable. You're someone who's ready to sacrifice the temporary for the permanent. You're someone who's ready to trade comfort for greatness. So make the trade. Cut the people who are holding you back. Create the space. Do the work. Become obsessed. Become relentless. Become unavailable to anything that doesn't serve your mission. Become the person that other people look at and wonder what happened to you. Become the person that old friends don't recognize anymore. Become the person that family members talk about at dinner because they don't understand what you're doing. Become the person that makes people uncomfortable with your level of discipline. Become the person that makes people question their own choices just by existing. Because that's what happens when you commit. That's what happens when you go all in. That's what happens when you stop playing small and start playing to win. You become a mirror. You become a reminder. You become proof that it's possible. And some people will love you for it, but most people will hate you for it. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with being the bad guy in someone else's story. You have to be okay with being misunderstood. You have to be okay with being alone. Because being alone and on your path is better than being surrounded by people and off your path. Your path is everything. Your mission is everything. Your vision is everything. And anything that doesn't align with that has to go. No exceptions, no compromises, no negotiations. You are either all in or you're wasting your time. And life is too short to waste time. Life is too short to surround yourself with people who don't inspire you. Life is too short to spend your days with people who drain you. Life is too short to invest in relationships that don't give you a return. Life is too short to play small because other people are uncomfortable with you playing big. So play big. Play to win. Play like you only get one shot at this. Because you do. You get one life, one chance, one opportunity to become everything you're capable of becoming. And you can either spend that life making other people comfortable or you can spend it making yourself great. You can either spend it being liked or you can spend it being respected. You can either spend it fitting in or you can spend it standing out. The choice is yours, but understand that it is a choice. And every day you delay making that choice is a day wasted. Every day you stay in the wrong environment is a day you're not growing. Every day you keep the wrong people around is a day you're not progressing. So what are you waiting for? What are you afraid of? Losing people who were never really there? Disappointing people who were never really rooting for you? Being alone in a room full of your own potential? Because that's the only thing you should be afraid of. Wasting it, wasting your life, wasting your time, wasting your potential. That's the real tragedy. Not being alone, not being misunderstood, not being judged. The real tragedy is reaching the end of your life and realizing you played it safe. Realizing you never took the shot. Realizing you spent your whole life worried about what other people thought instead of focused on what you wanted to build. Don't let that be your story. Don't let other people write your story. Don't let other people's limitations become your limitations. Don't let other people's fears become your fears. Don't let other people's mediocrity become your mediocrity. You are not them, you are you. And you have something inside you that most people will never access. You have drive, you have hunger, you have vision. And the only thing standing between you and everything you want is the people you're allowing to stand in your way. So move them, remove them, walk away from them. Do whatever you have to do to clear the path, because the path is there, the opportunity is there, the potential is there. But you can't access it while carrying dead weight. You can't access it while dragging people who refuse to move. You can't access it while trying to save people who don't want to be saved. You have to let them go. You have to save yourself first. You have to put your oxygen mask on before you help anyone else. Because if you pass out trying to help people who aren't even trying to help themselves, nobody wins. You lose. They lose. Everyone loses. But if you save yourself first, if you build yourself first, if you become great first, then you can come back and actually help people. Then you can come back with resources. Then you can come back with wisdom. Then you can come back with proof that it's possible. But you can't do that from the bottom. You can't help anyone from the bottom. You have to climb first. And climbing requires letting go of anything that's weighing you down. And most of the time, what's weighing you down is people. So let them go. Not with anger, not with resentment, not with hate, just with clarity, just with focus, just with the understanding that you have a mission and anyone who's not helping you accomplish that mission is in the way. And you don't have time for people who are in the way. You don't have time for distractions. You don't have time for drama. You don't have time for negativity. You don't have time for doubt. You don't have time for anything that doesn't move you closer to your goal. Because time is the only resource you can't get back. You can make more money. You can build more skills. You can create more opportunities. But you can't create more time. Every second you waste is a second you lose forever. Every minute you spend with the wrong person is a minute you could have spent working on yourself. Every hour you invest in a relationship that's going nowhere is an hour you could have invested in your future. And those hours add up. Those days add up. Those months add up. And before you know it, years have passed and you're still in the same place because you were too afraid to make the hard decision. So make the hard decision. Make it today. Make it right now. Look at your life. Look at the people in it. Ask yourself honestly if they're helping you or hurting you. Ask yourself if they're pushing you forward or holding you back. Ask yourself if they believe in your vision or if they're trying to convince you to settle for less. And if the answer is anything other than they're helping, they're pushing, they're believing, then you know what you have to do. You have to walk away. You have to create distance. You have to protect your energy. You have to protect your time. You have to protect your focus. You have to protect your dream, because nobody else is going to protect it for you. Nobody else is gonna fight for your vision. Nobody else is gonna sacrifice for your goals. That's your job. That's your responsibility. That's your burden to carry. And if you're not willing to carry it alone, you're not gonna make it. Because there will be seasons where you're alone. There will be seasons where it's just you and the work. There will be seasons where nobody understands what you're doing or why you're doing it. And you have to be strong enough to keep going anyway. You have to be strong enough to believe in yourself when nobody else does. You have to be strong enough to push forward when everyone else is telling you to quit. You have to be strong enough to stand alone in a room full of people who think you're crazy. Because the people who think you're crazy today are the same people who will call you a genius tomorrow. The people who doubt you now are the same people who will ask you for advice later. The people who laugh at your dreams now are the same people who will wish they believed in you later. But by then it won't matter, because you'll be too busy living your dream to care about their regret. So let them doubt, let them laugh, let them judge, let them talk, let them watch. Because they're going to watch you win. They're going to watch you succeed. They're going to watch you become everything they said you couldn't be. And some of them will celebrate you, and some of them will hate you, and none of it will matter because you'll know the truth. You'll know what it took. You'll know what you sacrificed. You'll know who you let go of. You'll know the price you paid, and you'll know it was worth it. Every single sacrifice will be worth it. Every lonely night will be worth it. Every misunderstood moment will be worth it. Every relationship that ended will be worth it. Every person who walked away will be worth it, because you'll be standing in a life that you built with your own hands. You'll be standing in a reality that you created with your own vision. You'll be standing in a future that you manifested with your own discipline. And nobody can take that from you. Nobody can diminish that. Nobody can say you didn't earn it, because you did. You paid the price. You made the choice. You became who you spend time with by choosing to spend time alone until you became the person worth spending time with. That's the secret. You don't find the right people. You become the right person, and the right people find you. But you have to become first. You have to build first. You have to prove first. You have to sacrifice first. You have to walk away first. You have to stand alone first. And then everything else falls into place. But not before. Never before. The universe rewards people who are willing to do the work without the guarantee. The universe rewards people who are willing to walk alone without knowing if anyone will ever join them. The universe rewards people who are willing to pay the price up front without demanding credit. So pay the price. Stop negotiating with yourself. Stop making excuses. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for support. Stop waiting for anything. Just start. Just move. Just walk away from what's not working and walk toward what could work. Just take the first step even if you can't see the whole staircase. Just trust that if you become who you need to become, everything you need will show up. But it won't show up until you show up. It won't show up until you make the space. It won't show up until you prove you're serious. So prove it. Prove you're serious by cutting off people who aren't serious. Prove you're committed by walking away from people who aren't committed. Prove you're focused by removing people who are distractions. Prove you're different by doing what different people do. And different people isolate. Different people sacrifice. Different people prioritize their mission over their social life. Different people understand that who you spend time with determines who you become. Different people make the hard choice because they know it's the right choice. So, make the hard choice. Make it now. Make it without regret. Make it with the understanding that every choice has a price, and the price of staying the same is higher than the price of changing. The price of comfort is higher than the price of growth. The price of fitting in is higher than the price of standing out. The price of being liked is higher than the price of being great. Because you can be liked and broke. You can be liked and unfulfilled. You can be liked and mediocre. but you can't be liked and legendary. You can't be liked and exceptional. You can't be liked and revolutionary. Because revolutionary people disrupt, they disturb, they challenge the status quo. They make people uncomfortable, and people don't like being uncomfortable. But that's not your problem. Your problem is becoming who you're supposed to be. Your problem is fulfilling your potential. Your problem is building the life you were put here to build. And if that makes people uncomfortable, so be it. If that makes people walk away, let them walk. If that makes people talk about you, let them talk. Because while they're talking, you're working. While they're judging, you're building. While they're comfortable, you're growing. And in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years, when you're living the life they wish they had, they'll understand, they'll get it, they'll see why you made the choices you made. But by then you won't need them to understand, because you'll be surrounded by people who understood all along. You'll be surrounded by people who made the same sacrifices. You'll be surrounded by people who paid the same price. And those are your people. Those are the ones who belong in your life. Not the ones who were there when it was easy, but the ones who showed up when it was hard. Not the ones who supported you when everyone else did, but the ones who supported you when everyone else didn't. Not the ones who believed in you when you were winning, but the ones who believed in you when you were losing. Those are the relationships worth keeping. Those are the people worth fighting for. Everyone else is just background noise. Everyone else is just passing through. Everyone else is just a lesson teaching you who doesn't belong. So learn the lesson, cut the dead weight, clear the path, make the space, do the work. Become obsessed, stay focused, walk alone if you have to, run alone if you have to, build alone if you have to, win alone if you have to, because eventually you won't be alone. Eventually the right people will show up. Eventually you'll look around and realize you're surrounded by greatness because you became great first. But none of that happens if you don't make the choice. None of that happens if you don't pay the price. None of that happens if you keep holding on to people who should have been let go a long time ago. So let go, right now, today, this moment. Stop reading and make the decision. Who in your life is holding you back? Who in your life is keeping you small? Who in your life doesn't believe in what you're building? Write their names down. Look at that list. Feel the weight of it. And then make the choice. Make the hard choice. Make the right choice. Make the choice that your future self will thank you for. Because your future self is depending on you making that choice. Your future self is begging you to be strong right now. Your future self is screaming at you to let go of what's not working so you can grab hold of what will work. So grab it. Grab your future with both hands. Grab your potential with everything you have. Grab your dream and don't let go no matter who walks away, because the dream is what matters. The mission is what matters. The vision is what matters. The person you're becoming is what matters. Everything else is negotiable. Everything else is secondary. Everything else is noise. And you don't have time for noise. You have work to do. You have a life to build. You have a legacy to create. And none of it happens while you're distracted by people who don't matter. So cut them off. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when it feels right. Now. Because it will never feel right. It will always feel hard. It will always feel uncomfortable. It will always feel like you're being mean or selfish or cold. But you're not. You're being focused. You're being intentional. You're being serious about your life. And serious people make serious decisions. Serious people protect their energy. Serious people guard their time. Serious people understand that who they become is determined by who they spend time with. And serious people choose to spend time with other serious people, or they choose to spend time alone until those people show up.